last we checked, actually, 15 wildfires are burning in our province. Only 6 of them are contained. Hot, dry, and windy conditions are creating further challenges and are not good news for the wildfire outlook in northern Saskatchewan. Christy Climenhaga is a scientist with Environment and Climate Change Canada, and she joins us now to talk about some of the weather and drought conditions happening here in Saskatchewan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Christy, how dry has it been in our province this spring compared to past years?
Yeah, it's an interesting spring and a very dry one for much of the province. When we're looking at how we started our spring, we actually came out of the winter not too badly across, especially northern Saskatchewan. Conditions were close to normal in many areas, even in terms of precipitation, even above normal in parts of northern Saskatchewan with precipitation as of the end of February. But then spring changed that picture quite a bit. It was a very dry spring. In terms of our preliminary spring climate records, we get that official number a little later today. But as of last week, areas like La Ronge and Prince Albert primed for their driest spring on record, with only 9% of their normal precipitation in the Prince Albert area. North Battleford primed for its second driest spring on record. Many areas below half of their normal precipitation for the spring season. So very, very dry conditions set up for the last few months.
Well, and I mean, on top of that, it's been quite hot in Saskatoon for this early in the spring, like hotter than I can remember since I've lived here. But how unusual are those high temps this time of year?
It's not unusual to see temperatures warm up in May. You can get heat events early in the spring season, or late in the spring, early in the summer, and we did see that this year. When we look at our first few weeks of May, well above seasonal, a little bit closer to normal through the mid part of the month, but then again warm at the end. So very warm conditions, and when you're getting those warm heat events early in that May month, that's where you're looking at that risk for things drying out very quickly. It is a little bit dangerous to get those sorts of heat events, not only for us as people, but for the environment too.
And was it similar in the north when it came to seeing those higher temperatures?
Yeah, we did see, quite a bit of heat early in the month. Looking at La Ronge, above seasonal for the first couple of weeks of May. A couple of notable heat events, even right till May 10th, May 11th. And then again, you got that little bit of a dip for the mid-month, close to seasonal, and then warming up once again. So a similar picture there for sure.
So given all of that, Christy, I guess, what's your drought forecast for the rest of the year?
Well, while we can't comment on the drought conditions themselves, precipitation is something that we're watching as we head into our summer season. So, when we look at our seasonal forecast, there's a couple of things to note for precipitation. It can be harder to pin down and harder to forecast for in terms of trends, because you can get one big storm and then all of a sudden your numbers are completely different. But what we're seeing when we look at the next month is there is a drier note for parts of west central and southwestern Saskatchewan, parts of the south as well. It looks like there is a little bit of a more wetter than normal note for the north, but again, seasonal forecast for precipitation can be tricky. And for the summer season itself, there's not much of a signal for precipitation, maybe slightly drier than normal, but we will have to wait and see how that pans out. Temperature-wise, it does look like a warmer than normal anomaly for much of the summer, which doesn't mean every day will be hot, but there is a better chance of more of those warmer than normal days than cooler than normal.
But do you think there's chances we'll see some rain in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, we are seeing some showery conditions today in parts of extreme northern Saskatchewan, not exactly where we need it for where those fires are burning. A better chance for some more widespread precipitation for the weekend. It looks like we'll have another system there, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how much and exactly where that rain falls, but it does look like we have a little bit of a promise towards the end of the forecast for some more wet weather.
Now, I know smoke has been affecting people obviously across the province, especially in the north, but it did arrive here in Saskatoon last week. How might that develop, in the foreseeable future with those high winds we've been seeing?
Yeah, so I mean, when we're looking at our smoke forecast, it's important to look at where those fires are burning, not only in your province, but also in your neighbors. So when you're looking at southern Saskatchewan, a lot of that smoke that has been filtering in, also coming from fires in northern Alberta because of the flow pattern that we have through this week. You might see that continue. So keep an eye on that air quality forecast. Of course, more smoke in proximity to those fires in parts of, north central Saskatchewan. Looks like extreme northern Saskatchewan might see a little bit of relief in the next couple of days, just as that flow kind of pushes that smoke a little further towards the west. But if you're in the south, you could see that smoke on and off with those fires burning in northern Alberta too. So something to keep in mind.
For sure. Now, I know we talked a little bit about precipitation looking further into the summer, but what else are you watching for weather-wise?
I mean, we're always watching for what our temperatures are doing through the summer months. So, in terms of our forecast for June, July, and August for temperatures, we are seeing, that risk of warmer than normal conditions for the summer. It looks like our forecast is keeping things on the warmer side, especially in parts of northeastern Saskatchewan. That's kind of where our highest confidence is in that warmer than normal conditions. So that's something to keep in mind for the next month. Again, precipitation could be a little bit of a split, but we'll be watching those temperatures as well. It looks like for the month of June, temperatures are expected to be, on the warmer side through much of the province, especially in the eastern part of the province.
What about Saskatoon specifically?
Saskatoon is kind of in that similar ballpark. It looks
Mm.
like warmer than normal conditions are expected. And again, as for precipitation, it looks like you are kind of in that drier than normal pattern for June. But again, precipitation forecast, difficult to say. One good storm and we could see that change.
Well, Christy, thank you so much for a little bit of insight this morning. We really do appreciate it.